Unfortunately, we have been banned from Canada. Let's talk about it.
Hey, make sure you check us out at therealestatechillpodcast.com. Buy your real estate merch now. Real estate merch with swag. A brand for hustlers only. Let's go!
Welcome back to the newest episode of the Real Estate and Chill Podcast. I'm your host, James Chattery, here for all your residential financial needs, here with
Kevin Iglesias, associate real estate broker. Follow me on all platforms. Let's dive into this. Let's dive into it. All right.
Tell me.
But first, before we go into this, what is Canada known for, Jimmy?
Bacon,
Drake,
Tory Lanez,
Justin Bieber,
Drake,
hockey,
Toronto Raptors,
healthcare,
Nut Boys,
Jim Carrey,
Drake,
maple syrup,
being north of the United States,
Drake. All right.
I guess.
Yeah.
So, you said you had a very wild claim beginning of this video. What are you talking about?
So, according to The Real Deal, which is the source for today, Canada is banning all non-Canadians for 2 years. You cannot purchase real estate in Canada. Seems like Canada is going through a housing crisis like the whole U.S. is.
Okay.
But they're putting a ban on non-Canadians. What are your thoughts of that?
I mean, in the U.S., there has to be some sort of statistic about how many people buy houses that are not from the United States, that are international purchasers who are investing in properties in the United States. So, I mean, in New York, we see it all the time. Don't you think?
Yeah. I don't even the heck you even said.
I think that a lot of the times, we see a lot of people investing in New York in our market that aren't from the United States. We see a lot of foreign investors. So are they like trying to just go against that and just trying to prevent that?
Well, I think the basis of the story is they're trying to help Canadians secure real estate, right? So they're not outbid or homeless.
I just need you to know if you're renting, you're homeless.
But I feel like that's crazy because I cannot foresee that happening here in New York.
I feel like that's a lot to ban other people. So if you were a citizen of the United States and you moved to Canada for 2 years, you can't buy a house.
Well, let's dive into the article, all right? It's on therealdeal.com. It says here, January 1st, they're placing a 2-year ban on the purchase of residential property by non-Canadians. All right. Regulations recently released by the government say the prohibition applies only to certain cities and not to vacation homes and recreation areas. There are exemptions for buyers with Canadian spouses or partners, as well as foreign buyers of multifamily buildings with more than 3 units, the Times reported. Offenders, look, this is crazy. Offenders could be fined 10,000 Canadian dollars and or forced to sell their property, but not at a profit. That's crazy.
So they can't even make money on it.
So let's say, all right, you're banned. You want to buy in a city that Canada's telling you, hey, look, you can't buy, you're not a U.S. Canadian. You can't buy, you're not a U.S. Canadian. Not a U.S. Canadian. Not a U.S. Canadian. You can't buy, you're not a U.S. Canadian. You buy it, Canada's telling you that they can force you to sell that property and sell it not at a profit.
We should do the same thing to them. That's unfair. That's not free trade. That's like
dictatorship.
I feel like we live in a world where trade just makes up so much of the economy, like the global economy, obviously. So that's just taking away from free trade. I feel like that's not fair to the U.S. citizens, to anybody who's looking to buy there. I mean, I guess it's for 2 years. But listen, we know what it's like. We know what a housing crisis is like. Like, we've seen that in the past 2 years. Like in the New York market, people were not able to buy houses. They were waiting on lines for months, years in order to buy a home. So I'm just surprised that they're doing that right now where, in the time of the United States where the market is finally normalizing, the housing market, that is, in Canada, is that not the case? I wonder.
Well, it says here that, there's a housing crisis going on in Canada. That's why they're putting this rule and regulation into effect. It's already in effect as of January 1st, 2023, which I thought was very interesting. And it says here, look, most foreigners buying real estate are not speculators, said, quoted by Jackie Chan, the Vancouver-based founder and CEO of Baker West Real Estate, not to be confused with Jackie Chan from the Rush Hour Mega Movie. Just want to make that clear. All right. It says they're immigrants who are buying homes here to live in. We're telling people we don't want them here. Michael, I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's last name, but there's a lot of opinions going on about this, which you said everybody's saying, look, it's unfair. And some people are saying, look, this is fair because it gives more Canadians opportunities to buy real estate in Canada and to own property in their own country.
I like it for that aspect of it because I feel like if you are a citizen of a country, you should have, fair play into buying into real estate because obviously, everybody should be looking to buy real estate throughout their life. And if it's becoming a situation where they can't even do that and they can't achieve that goal, then maybe it's a good idea. But just blocking free trade, in my opinion, not good. No bueno.
I don't think so either. I think, like I said before, it's like a form of dictatorship. You know what I mean? Like it's just banning.
It's not even dictatorship on them though. It's dictatorship on other people trying to get into that market. Like say for example, if there was a stock in New York, like in the United States that you wanted to invest in, right? A company based out of Florida, and they said no other outside foreign investors are allowed to invest in that company.
If here in New York, in Long Island, and we put like a 2-year ban saying people can't buy real estate in, let's say, Queens, right? There would be so many people protesting. There would be so many, we'd get hit with so many fair housing like regulations stating that we can't, put that into effect. So I think it's just crazy that they allowed it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I guess we'll have to see how that plays out. That's already in effect? Then
it's already in effect as of January 1st. Yeah, 100%.
Wow. Well, if you are Canadian and you want to buy real estate there, you're lucky because we can't.
If you're a Canadian and you want to move to New York City and buy some real estate here, you know who to contact.
Us.
Yes.
Reach out to us.
Yes. Have you ever been to Canada?
Yeah, I've been a few times. Niagara Falls, Quebec.
I like
Montreal.
their McDonald's has, what is it called? Poutine?
I don't even know what that is.
What
I was
are you
going to say
talking
like
about?
the different type of apple pies.
Apple pies. I never even knew they had a
Funny story. Like my dad when I went to Canada with my dad, he they spoke French. They didn't speak English. And he was like annoyed that they didn't speak English. I was like, we're in a different country. I don't know. I thought that was funny. he was like upset that they didn't speak English. And I was like, what do you expect? We're not in America anymore. I mean, we're not in the U.S. anymore. We're in another country.
All right. So fun fact, I have family in Canada who their primary language is French. It's funny because they have, they're Hispanic, but their primary language is French. It's French, then it's Spanish, and then it's English. Wow. So I've always wanted to learn how to speak French, but I can't really get that accent.
I don't think I've ever met somebody who only speaks French, so I haven't found a need for it yet, but every language is important. But I think that Spanish, French, and English, having those three, you're the king of North America.
Yo, what are multifamilies going for in Canada? Because it says here that this allows you to buy multifamily here in Canada still, which is interesting because it says if you have a Canadian spouse or partner, then you're basically exempt from this rule.
I feel like that's similar to the U.S. where like banking rules in the U.S., like if you have a permanent resident card, you can buy a house in the U.S. If you don't have a status, then you can't unless you do something called an ITIN program where you need a tax ID number. So in the U.S., I mean, I'm interested to see if like you can still be a citizen there. If you don't have to be a citizen there, you can't just invest there. But in the U.S., do you know if like people are allowed to buy houses cash if they aren't citizens in the U.S.?
Oh, what? Is that a serious question?
Because financing wise, it's gonna be tough. If, they don't have
if you're a cash buyer, you can buy property anyway. I don't think you have to have a citizenship.
So where does the deed go to?
What do you mean?
To their name, but in a different country.
So okay. So the money has to be sourced, right? Like the money has to be in the banking account to be sourced, unless you're gonna get hit by the IRS and they're gonna come after you saying where's all this money come from.
Exactly. So how do you pay taxes on a property that if you don't live in the U.S.? All right, I don't even know. I'm just because I don't ever deal with that. I don't ever deal with cash buyers, so I really don't know.
Yeah, but all right. So let's think about the city, New York City, right? People come who are foreign, come with a whole lot of money, and they buy properties cash sometimes. You can still buy a property cash.
But just financing is going to be a little tough. Or, I mean, you could get
financing
different forms of, unless you go through like.
How does that even work? Now that we're on the topic, let's say I'm an investor, right? And I want to buy a property here. Would I have to go through a bank that's local? Let's say I'm going through you. What do I have to show you? Just the same.
I mean, if somebody has no status in the U.S., like they can go through a tax ID loan, but you need some sort of status to be able to purchase a home and get financing for it. Like you have to have a permanent resident card, or you have to have a work permit. Something along those lines in order to buy a house and get a mortgage to purchase that home.
So just so we're on the topic of Canadian real estate, I'm on Zillow right now, and I'm looking at a property in Canada. It's going for $1.295. All right, and it's 2,283 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, fully renovated. We'll pop it up here on the screen, and it's a townhouse. So it seems like real estate is up. Real estate is up everywhere. This is a random house in Canada. Let's see who the brokerage is. Forest Hills Real Estate Inc. So shout out to you guys. It's only been on the market for 1 day, 15 views, 0 saves.
What? Show me a house that's been on the market for like a week.
House has been on the market for a week.
Yeah. What's the demand look like over there?
All right, hold on. Let me filter this out.
A week on the market.
All right, so now I'm at a lower price point. I am on Westbrook Avenue. All right, this is up for. What's interesting is that, you know how we have prices here that says like $619. This says a C, and then $, and then the number.
It's Canadian dollars.
Yeah, I think I just think that's interesting.
Wait, so what is it? What's the price?
Hold on, I'm trying to.
Sorry, I'm excited.
Pick it up. Just 15 saves.
So it seems like, I don't know. We're basing it off of 2 things that we saw in the whole entire country, but I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if they're having like a real housing crisis like we were in the U.S. like a few years ago. Wow, a few years ago. That's crazy. But if they are, best to you. I probably wasn't going to buy a house in Canada anyway the next year, so that doesn't affect me. But I just now know that I can't, which sucks. I don't like being told that I can't do something.
Me neither.
It's unfortunate,
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to investments and stuff. I don't like being told I can't do it.
Well, if you're from Canada and you're listening to our channel, this is your first time here with us, make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you guys share. And follow us on all social media platforms.
And make sure to get your real estate hustle hoodie. I don't know if you're in Canada, if you can buy it. Do we ship globally?
We ship globally, all right? So if you come to Earth in a UFO, you're leaving with a real estate hustle hoodie, all right? Price might go up, though.
Prices go up. All right. Thank you for watching the latest episode of Real Estate and Chill Podcast. We will see you next time.
Hey, make sure you check us out at the realestateandchillpodcast.com. Buy your real estate merch now. Real estate merch with swag. A brand for hustlers only. Let's go!
Thank you for tuning in to the Real Estate and Chill Podcast with James Chaudhry and Kevin Iglesias. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, share this with your friends, your enemies, your mother-in-law. No, seriously, this podcast is so fucking good.